Okay, so you know how we're always talking about, life and how it, just goes in one direction. Well, today we're looking at something that kind of breaks that rule.
It really does.
The immortal jellyfish.
Turritopsis dohrnii.
Yeah, the name really says it all, doesn't it? Immortal.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty big claim, right? Immortal.
It is, and it's a creature that um, really kind of throws a wrench into like how we think about aging and death. I mean, you think about it like most organisms, right? Us included, we follow like this path, right? We're born, we grow up, we mature, and then that's kind of it, right?
Yeah.
But this jellyfish, it's like it's found a way to just like hit the rewind button, you know?
And we're not just talking about like, oh, a lizard regrowing its tail or something.
No. This is totally
And
different.
this is a whole other level.
Exactly. So it's not regeneration, right? It's called transdifferentiation. And what happens is that when this jellyfish is, stressed or injured or even just getting old, it can actually revert back from its mature form. This is called the Medusa stage, back to its polyp stage. It's like, imagine a butterfly just deciding to become a caterpillar again.
Wait, so it literally turns itself back into like a younger version of itself?
Essentially.
Yeah, how is that even possible?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I mean, it's not just like a visual change. We're talking like a complete cellular reprogramming, right?
Yeah.
The specialized cells, they basically revert back to this more like basic state, almost like stem cells,
Yeah.
And that lets the jellyfish basically rebuild itself like from the ground up.
That's wild. I mean, I know we always hear about starfish, regenerating limbs, and that's pretty amazing in itself, but
It is.
this is like a whole other level.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's totally different. Like you said, with starfish, they're just regrowing a part that they lost.
Yeah.
But the immortal jellyfish, it's reversing its entire life cycle.
It's literally turning back time, like on a cellular level.
It really is. It's pretty mind-blowing.
So how does it actually like do that? How does it pull that off?
Well, that's what has scientists so fascinated. They're digging deep, right? Looking at specific genes that control how cells grow and how they become different types of cells. And it seems like these genes, they can be like switched on and off in the jellyfish, and that's what allows this crazy transformation. It's like they've got this secret code in their DNA that, lets them rewind.
Okay, that's incredible. But why? Like, why would a jellyfish even need that? What's the evolutionary advantage?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's one researchers are still trying to wrap their heads around. But one theory is that it's a way to cope with, extreme stress in the environment.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. You're a tiny jellyfish in this vast ocean.
Right.
Right? There's predators everywhere. Sometimes there's not enough food. The temperature can change, the salinity, all these things.
Right.
So being able to just hit the reset button and start over, that could be a huge advantage in surviving.
It's like an emergency escape hatch built into their biology.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And it's this ability to cheat death. This really captured people's imaginations, not just scientists, but everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta admit, I'm kind of fascinated by the idea myself.
It is a pretty tempting thought.
Who hasn't thought about, going back in time to a younger, healthier self?
Yeah, it's a very human desire, isn't it? I think that's why this jellyfish is so compelling to us.
I guess so.
It touches on this deep longing we all have, for renewal, for a longer life.
Okay, so I gotta ask, right? All this research on these genes, what does it mean for us? Are we talking about like human immortality here?
Well, hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's still early days.
Okay.
But the potential, it's definitely there. I mean, researching the immortal jellyfish, it could lead to some big breakthroughs in regenerative medicine, in how we treat diseases, maybe even just in understanding aging itself.
Yeah, but I mean, I gotta ask, wouldn't extending human life just create a whole bunch of other problems, like overpopulation or not having enough resources? We're already struggling with those things now.
You're not wrong. Those are definitely some big questions we need to consider.
Yeah.
It's not just about whether we can do something, but whether we should.
Right.
The ethical implications of extending human life, they're huge. We can't ignore that.
So maybe not eternal life, but maybe like healthier, longer lives.
That's a much more realistic goal.
Yeah.
Maybe finding ways to repair damaged tissues, organs. Even imagine being able to regrow heart tissue after a heart attack.
Right.
Or fix a spinal cord injury.
It's hard to even imagine what this research could lead to.
It really is.
It's like it could change medicine completely.
Yeah, but it's important to remember, this isn't just about humans, right? This jellyfish, it plays a big role in the ocean's ecosystem.
It does, yeah.
I mean, from an ecological standpoint, the immortal jellyfish, it's like this amazing example of how life adapts and survives.
It's like a symbol of resilience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a world where, the environment is changing so much, understanding how organisms like this, how they thrive, it's more important than ever. It shows us that even the smallest creatures can teach us something about how to deal with change.
It's inspiring, really.
It is. It is. And it reminds us how important it is to protect biodiversity, to protect all these different life forms out there, because they might hold the key to solving some of our biggest problems.
And it makes you think, on a deeper level, what does it all mean? Life, immortality.
Right. I mean, this jellyfish, it's like it's found a way to skip over death altogether.
It makes you question everything we think we know about being alive, about aging, about the fact that we all die someday.
It definitely challenges our conventional views. I mean, this jellyfish, it's like it's making us confront our own mortality.
Yeah.
It forces us to rethink this idea that time is just this straight line and that death is inevitable. Maybe there's other ways to experience time and existence that we haven't even considered.
It's like a little glimpse into a different dimension or something.
Maybe there are life forms out there that experience time in a completely different way. Maybe for them it's cyclical or it's fluid, or maybe it doesn't even exist for them the way it does for us.
I've never thought about it that way.
Well, the immortal jellyfish, it gives us that possibility. It's a hint that our human way of seeing things, maybe it's just one tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle.
That's a pretty profound thought.
It is. It is. And it just shows you how much we still don't know about the universe and all the amazing life forms out there.
And just think, this tiny jellyfish, it's taught us all this.
Incredible, isn't it? It just goes to show we should never underestimate anything in nature, no matter how small or insignificant it seems.
Absolutely. Who knows? Maybe the next big scientific breakthrough will come from something even stranger than a jellyfish.
Exactly. And that's what keeps me excited as a scientist, There's always more to learn.
Yeah.
Always more to discover. And that's what makes the world so amazing.
Well said. Well, I think we've pretty much covered the immortal jellyfish for today.
I think so.
But I have a feeling this little creature's going to stay with us for a while.
It definitely will.
I mean, it's given us a lot to think about.
And maybe more importantly, it sparked that sense of wonder, that desire to keep exploring and asking questions.
Well, on that note, to all our listeners, stay curious, keep asking questions, and never stop being amazed by this crazy, amazing world we live in.
I love that.
You never know, you might just discover the next big secret of nature.
That's a great message.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is amazing how much this one tiny creature can teach us.
Yeah. And it's not just like theoretical, I mean, scientists are already looking into ways to actually apply what they're learning from the immortal jellyfish to real problems.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not like we're going to find a fountain of youth or anything like that, but the possibilities they're pretty exciting.
Yeah.
For example, researchers, they're looking at how these unique proteins and enzymes that this jellyfish has, how they work at the molecular level.
Okay.
And they're hoping to use that knowledge to maybe, improve how durable biological materials are, how long they last.
So we could be talking about applications in bioengineering even.
Oh,
or material science.
Exactly. I mean, imagine being able to create materials that are biocompatible, but they can also repair themselves or adapt to different conditions. I mean, it's pretty mind-blowing when you really think about it.
Yeah. It's like we're learning how to use nature's own tools to build and repair living systems.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. And it all comes back to studying this tiny little creature that, most people probably wouldn't even notice.
Yes, goes to show you, even the smallest organisms can hold this incredible potential.
They really can.
But it also makes you think about the bigger picture, right? The ethical side of things.
That's for sure.
What would it mean for society if we could actually significantly extend how long people live?
Yeah, that's a big one.
How would it affect our relationships, our jobs, even just our sense of purpose? And what about inequality? Would it make those problems even worse?
It's a lot to consider, and we can't just focus on the potential benefits,
Right.
right? We have to think about the risks, the challenges too.
Absolutely.
We need to look at it from all angles, not just the science, but the social, ethical, and environmental sides of it too.
And this isn't just about humans either, right? I mean, the fact that this jellyfish is so resilient, it reminds us how important it is to protect our oceans
Absolutely.
and all the amazing life they contain.
It really does. If this one little creature can unlock so many secrets, just imagine what else is out there waiting to be discovered.
It's true.
You know, the immortal jellyfish, it's like a reminder that every single species on Earth, it plays a part in this delicate balance of life. And by understanding those connections, we could do a better job of protecting our planet.
And maybe even learn a thing or two about how to survive ourselves, right?
Exactly. I mean, this jellyfish, it's clearly figured out some pretty impressive tricks.
It has.
The immortal jellyfish, it's like this master adapter. It's been around for millions of years, surviving in all sorts of environments.
It's incredible.
It's a testament to just how powerful evolution is, finding these creative solutions.
Okay, so before we move on, I want to go back to something we talked about earlier. The philosophical side of the immortal jellyfish.
Yeah.
It really makes you question, what does it actually mean to be alive?
It does, doesn't it?
What does it mean to age and eventually die? This creature seems to have found a way around all of that.
It really challenges how we usually think about life and death.
Right?
The fact that this jellyfish can basically reverse aging, it forces us to confront our own mortality.
Yeah.
It makes us question, like, is time really just this straight line? Is death really inevitable? Or are there other ways to experience time and existence that we haven't even thought of?
It's almost like looking through a window into another dimension.
It really is. Maybe there are life forms out there that experience time completely differently.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's cyclical for them, or it flows differently, or maybe it's not even something they think about the way we do.
That's wild.
It is. It is. But the immortal jellyfish, it gives us that possibility. It suggests that maybe our human perspective, it's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger picture.
That's a pretty profound thought.
It is. And it just goes to show how much we still don't know about the universe and all the amazing forms of life out there.
And to think all of this has come from studying this tiny jellyfish.
It's amazing, isn't it? It really highlights how important it is to be curious, to ask questions, and to never underestimate anything in nature, no matter how small it seems.
Absolutely.
I mean, who knows what the next big scientific breakthrough will come from? It could be something even stranger than a jellyfish.
It could be, yeah.
And that's what keeps me going as a scientist, The fact that there's always more to discover, more to learn, it's what makes the world so incredible.
Well said. Well, I think we've done a pretty deep dive on the immortal jellyfish today.
I think so.
And even though we're moving on, I have a feeling this little creature is going to stick with us for a while.
Oh, definitely. It's given us a lot to think about.
It has.
And maybe even more importantly, it's kind of reignited that sense of wonder,
Yeah.
That drive to keep exploring and asking questions.
So to everyone listening out there, stay curious, keep those questions coming.
Yeah.
And never stop being amazed by this crazy, incredible world we live in.
I love that. That's a great message.
Because you never know, you might be the one to discover the next big secret that nature's hiding.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been a pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring.
Absolutely. Yeah, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the things that we least expect that end up teaching us the most.
It's true. It's true. I mean, we're talking about a jellyfish here, a blob of jelly, basically.
And yet here we are, just completely fascinated by this little creature.
Exactly. The immortal jellyfish, I mean, it's a perfect example of how nature just throws these curveballs at us, like it makes us rethink everything we thought we knew.
Makes you realize we don't know as much as we think we do, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. I mean, this thing looks so simple, so basic.
Right, but underneath that simplicity, there's this whole complex story, this story of survival, of adaptation, of renewal even, and it might even hold the key to changing how we understand biology, maybe even our place in the universe.
It's a big thought, yeah. Well, I think we've we've pretty much reached the bottom of our deep dive on the immortal jellyfish today.
I think so.
I mean, we've covered it all, haven't we? The science behind how it does what it does, the philosophical questions it raises about life and death, even, what it means to exist.
I think we hit all the major points.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about how its cells actually rejuvenate, what that might mean for human health if we could ever, do something similar. And of course the big ethical questions about living longer.
It's a lot to take in, isn't it?
It is. It is. But I gotta say, I'm feeling pretty inspired. It's like it's a reminder that everything's connected, that even this little jellyfish plays a part in the bigger web of life.
Absolutely. And this is just the start, really. I mean, there's still so much more to learn about the immortal jellyfish, about all the wonders that are out there hidden in the natural world, just waiting for us to find them.
You're right. You're right. So to all our listeners, stay curious, keep asking those questions, and never lose that sense of wonder. Because who knows, maybe you'll be the one to uncover the next big secret.
Could be anyone listening, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a real pleasure chatting with you today. Until next time, keep exploring.
It's been great. Thanks for having me.